Hello and welcome to Global Business. I am Imewari Uhyomokai. We celebrate with the women. Just last week on Thursday, it was International Women's Day, and we say Happy Women's Day to all women all over the world. And today on Global Business, even as we celebrate our 10th anniversary on Nigerian television, we're celebrating with women pressing for progress. Of course, we'll be talking with two women who are not just professionals in their own career, but also businesswomen. We're talking with Augusta Omoshebi, who is a doctor, optometrist, and also a businesswoman. And of course, we're talking to Patience Odoko, who is a fashionista, a fashion designer, and a businesswoman. They were looking at challenges of women in business in Nigeria. Also today on the program, we're talking with David Ugolo. David Ugolo is a civil rights campaigner, and he was looking at looted funds. How judiciously do they use looted funds, especially as we have the looted funds coming in trickles. Then we have a special. It's a new one we're introducing on today's program. It's the iReports. You send us your reports and we use it. We have one all the way from Edo State, Shedrack Okpome. He'll be looking at the young lads who are doing wonders with their hands and with cartons. You don't want to miss today's episode. It's a packed, in fact, highly charged episode of Global Business. Sit back, relax, and take a listen. Watch, of course, as we have our first story.
Okay, my name is Shedrack Okpome from Agenebode in Edo State, and I just let me walk down the street that's close to my house. So on getting here, I saw two little boys who were so busy with their fingers, like hands, and I was like, what are they doing? To my surprise, as in what I saw is going to shock you, and I think these little kids got talent that I think someone needs to help out. And I'm using this opportunity, or trying to make this video to make the world see that it doesn't start from adulthood, but it starts from a very young generation. Now, what are these kids up to? They get cartons, like cartons of biscuits, cartons of Indomie, and they cut them into pieces. And what do they do out of it? They make shoes. They make shoes, very beautiful. Look at this here. And these boys did this, and look at the small size here also, very beautiful. Look at it, as you can see. This is another type. I don't know how they do it. This is another one here, and you have a lot of them here. Then there's another one dangling here. This is another one from carton. This is another one again from carton. And as you can see, the boys are busy. This is one of the boys really working hard, and this is other brother doing the same thing. So I think I want to talk to them to know their names. Boy, Alpha, what's your name?
Nothing, sir. My name is Peter Destiny.
Peter Destiny.
Yes, sir.
So which class do you go to school?
Yes, sir.
Which class are you?
St. Peter Grammar School, GSS 1.
GSS 1.
Yes, sir.
So for how long have you been doing this?
Sir, like 1 year now.
1 year now you've been doing this. How did you come about this? Like, who taught you? Is it something you just developed on your own, or something you felt like it's good, let me just start doing?
Sir, it's something we felt like is good. We started doing it.
Okay, you started doing it.
Yes, sir.
And do you sell them?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you sell them to who?
To children like me.
And what do they use them for? They wear them, or they just use them for play, or?
Sir, they wear them because it's available to them.
Are you serious?
Yes, sir.
Okay, outside this, what else do you know how to do?
So I know how to do jazz band, guitar, keyboard, much things. I know how to do that.
How do you do it with this carton? You pick or something different?
Something different.
But you don't have something like a sample here now that I can show my friends to see?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, as you can see, he's busy working, and you heard him saying he says to little kids like him, actually, it's something very good. You look close to it, you see, this is, he got this one from carton. It's carton. Okay, there's a plastic slippers there, and these are the carton they normally use. You see it, and these are the clothing which they use as well. Then this is the other brother again. So this is the brother again. So what's your name?
My name is Peter Mike.
Peter Mike. He's your brother.
Yes, sir.
So which class are you?
Primary 5.
Primary 5. So for how long have you been doing this?
Since 1 year now.
1 year. Who taught you?
Nobody.
You just decided to be doing it on your own,
Yes,
and you sell it out to people.
Yes, sir.
March 8 every year is celebrated all over the world as the International Women's Day. Global Business celebrates every woman. If you're a woman watching this program, we celebrate you. And so we're going to be talking with two women. The first one is an optometrist, Dr. Augusta Omoshebi. She's an optometrist and a businesswoman. The second is someone who was in banking and now is a fashion designer, but a specialized fashion designer, a designer for menswear. Patience Odoko on the program. Let's take a listen to their interviews as they look at challenges of women in business in Nigeria.
I'm going to show you some letters. Am I like to look at the inside of my eye? On my chest, I use it for teaching and straight and so it's not me, I'm just okay, that's it. No, I didn't take it. Just straight ahead. Okay, that's it.
So here we are with Dr. Augusta Omoshebi, who is optometrist. We're not talking about eyes or the eyes, the care of the eyes today. We're talking about the money that comes from the care of the eyes. So, Dr. Augusta, welcome to Global Business, and we'll say Happy International Women's Day to you. We're celebrating you people today. As a woman in business in Nigeria, what is your experience?
My experience have been, I've had both the ups and the downs in terms of running a business here in Nigeria, in Abuja. My first major challenge was, usually it comes from family. They'll tell you, oh, hold on, you're a woman. My husband would tell me, wait, when I have enough money, I'll set up a practice for you. That was over 10 years ago when we were interested in starting up a business of our own. But God has been faithful. Then you have colleagues, or in the business environment, the HMOs I work with, I actually just address myself as Dr. Omoshebi AOA. Most organizations...
They don't see your face.
No.
But when you come and just send your name, Dr. Omoshebi
Yes,
AOA.
because even if you come in to Locust Eye Clinic, now, yes, I'm agreeing to put a face to the business because by God's grace, we are a brand in the eye care industry now in Abuja. But when we started, in fact, I had to stop putting Mrs. You just put Dr. Omoshebi AOA, so you can be given an opportunity to be a player in that field or in that sector. You know, because most people will just assume she's a woman. You know, for us women, you have to balance. I'm married. You have to balance your family life, and you have to be able to balance your business. I made up my mind, mine must succeed. There's no, because then he will tell me, okay, don't worry, you're owing enough now, stop. When I have enough money, we'll pay the backlog. You know, in business, every money that comes in is not yours. You know, everything is not yours. You have to remove the money for electricity, money for the goods you sell, you know. But it's been quite interesting. I'm grateful to God where we are now.
Okay, now, what are the challenges, really, beyond all these other peripherals that are more domestic? What are the challenges you as a woman face in business in Nigeria?
I won't mention meetings where we go to as Locust Eye Clinic. And when, you know, mainly you have to hide the fact that you're a woman in the first place when you are trying to enter a field in terms of we are all bidding for the same group of patients using, for example, the health and maintenance organizations as a base. You be silent on the female part.
Why?
Because for me, okay, times like you say, okay, I need to go for school run. You can't separate the domestic really from being a business woman in Nigeria. Your family will expect you to play your role as a wife, as a mother, and you have to be able to marry and delegate responsibilities as you go along. In taking, for example, I sell frames and lenses, getting suppliers to have confidence in giving you things, you have to lean on relationships. Well, the type of business I'm into, medical, we really don't have a lot of support from the organized sector in terms of the formal sector for funding. The time we actually approached the bank, and they were, our payment time in terms of when you look at the interest rate that goes with getting access to funding from the bank, you look at the time it takes to spread payment back of the payment loan. It wasn't really exciting for most of the banks in terms of, and then being a woman again, to get those appointments, to get those meetings.
And where do you I can hear your phone buzzing. You're very important and very busy. But finally, what do you see the future of women? What is the future of women in business in Nigeria?
No, it's very bright. A lot of us have come into the business platform in various disciplines, and women are actually making an impact in business in Nigeria. Quite a number. Even the richest black woman in a few years ago is actually a Nigerian, and the future is bright. Families are learning to accept us. Organizations are learning to accept us. Once you are committed to your business, by the grace of God, the future is bright. So I'll encourage more women to take that dream and make it a business.
Thank you very much, Dr. Augusta Omoshibi. She is an optometrist, but more importantly, an optometrist with a business sense. The program continues. So patients, happy International Women's Day first, and I want to say that you have been selected as one of those who are successful in business, especially with a challenging business environment in Nigeria. How is it as a woman and a woman in business in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you. As a woman in business in Nigeria, it's a bit challenging, especially for the field I'm in. I do fashion, and then I do menswear. So it's a bit difficult. People say, oh, why are you doing menswear? Why are you not doing female clothes? You know, then they go like, yeah, and I'm like, I'm trying to change the narrative. And then, you know, when you go out marketing, people look at you funny. They're like, yeah, lady, why are you doing that? Why are you doing the men's? You're not supposed to do that. And I even there was a time I met someone, he also does the menswear. And then he was like, why don't you just focus on the selling fabrics and then leave the menswear for us? What do you understand about it? But like, yeah, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to learn everything I need to make sure I win on it.
You're really unique in this. I mean, a lady who is into menswear. I also know a man who specializes in female wear.
Yeah.
But tell me, do you get probably sexual attacks? I mean, people who are not very okay with your gender and probably prey on you because of it.
Yes, totally. And that's one thing about being a lady and then being in the men's sector. It's a bit difficult because I still have to always talk to men. I go out, and that's why for me it's about being very, very professional. I have to just make sure I am sticking to my business. It's business, we're here for business. So when I go on marketing, I meet people that will say, okay, fine, I want to do business with you, but how about we do, but then you have to be very firm. Especially with the kind of, you have to meet so many people. How many people would I do that with? So you have to be firm when you do business like that. You have to know that you have to be very principled, actually, for me. So that's one thing that keeps me going. I have a policy. If it's business, it's business. There is no other. We can be friends, but nothing. So you have to be firm with your work. You have to be principled. You have to be sure of what you're offering, and that's why you have to know your job. So for me, I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going to. I have a picture of where I want to be. So that's it for me. I go out, I give you my business that I've come to do, and then if you're satisfied with it, you can come back, but nothing else. So it's about being firm and principled for me.
But it's easier said than done.
It's easy. It's not easy. Definitely, it's not easy. There are people who would not do business with you again because you did not accept their offer. But then we have over 180 million people in Nigeria. So why not? So you can move on and then we do business with some other people. So for me, it's about business and business.
But what other challenges do you have as a woman in business in Nigeria?
For me, there are several challenges, but then one that is very, very particular, not just to me, but to everybody and to other industries, is the fact that the society sees people as, especially ladies, as, okay, there's certain tasks, there's certain jobs that are not for females. It has to be for a guy. Especially people in tech, they say, okay, you can't be a mechanic, you can't do computer, you can't do this except you're a guy. So it's apart from it just being, I would say, discriminatory, they also have, like, even our dad and mom, they would say they will not train us as girls to understand entrepreneurship. They will train our younger ones. They would not just our younger ones, I say younger ones because of my brothers. They will train the male people in the house instead of training the female people to understand business. So it's something that has to be changed in our society, especially in Africa and in Nigeria. Our family should see the girls in the family as entrepreneurs and people who can also bring success and also can also run a business. Because if they see us as, okay, you're supposed to just be in the house, take care of the kids, and just maybe do a 9 to 5 and come back and then make sure you're home. But we can do way more than that.
So how do you see ladies in business? What's the future of ladies in business, especially in Nigeria?
I am really, really intrigued by the way we have so many people who are so energized and who are willing to do so much for themselves and then to build their brand. It's really interesting. So I'm very positive it's really going to change. The narrative is already changing with people like me that are doing things that ideally would only be for a guy, making menswear. So it's interesting what's happening now.
So now you tell someone your message who wants to be inspired by someone like you.
So I'll tell you that you should be focused, you should be clear about your vision, you should know your purpose, you should know that you can break any ceiling, there's no limitation. As a girl, there's nothing that is limiting you, you can do everything you want to do, there is nothing stopping you, you have that same energy, you have that same brain, your lips are working, you can work, as long as you can think, as long as you can imagine, you can actually achieve it.
Thank you very much, Patience Odoko.
Thank you.
For talking to us on Global Business.
Thank you.
You may have heard of the Abacha loot. You may have heard of other loots that have been returned to this country. And the government is not very open on what it is using such funds for. David Ugolo, who is a campaigner, civil rights campaigner, is also campaigning to make sure that everything is made plain. Well, he's going to tell you himself. David, welcome to Global Business. Now, tell us about this campaign of yours.
Well, the first thing is that this campaign started over 15 to 20 years ago, when we first had the first civil society regional meeting in Benin Republic. We were looking into the impact of capital flights. Then nobody have even imagined the whole issue of illicit financial flow. Then we already recognized the impact of capital flight from the continent. And so we had the Njiribe Declaration in Benin Republic that calls for the international community to return all stolen assets stashed in Western Bank and in offshore center. And when Obasanjo came into power, Obasanjo again gave this a global voice, and that culminated into the work around the United Nations Financing for Development, where the issue of looted assets became a very strong issue. And then when the UN Convention Against Corruption was adopted, a special chapter in the convention was dedicated to the issue of asset recovery. As a matter of fact, it was a fundamental principle in the UN Convention Against Corruption. And that again gave it a global perspective, and that the whole world now recognize that asset recovery is very important if we are to redress development challenge in poor developing countries. And some of us as campaigners, within the Jubilee 2000 campaigning for debt cancellation, we also saw the odious nature of debt, and we saw that how the money was borrowed, how it was returned back to Western Bank. All those again help to increase civic action around the issue of asset recovery. And then we came to Nigeria, we were campaigning for the return of Abacha loan. And the first time in history, civil society monitored the recovered Abacha loan. We discovered the discrepancy in the reporting of what the money was used for. And then civil society began to demand transparency and accountability around asset recovery. And today you can see that it's one of the most contentious issues in the country, anti-corruption activity today. People are asking, asset recovery, what is it being used for? Even the National Assembly are asking questions. The average Nigerians are asking questions. And so when the last return by the Swiss government, the $321 million is to be returned, that formed a huge part of the conversation around the MOU. And the first time in history, we must commend this government. They invited the civil society to be on the table where the MOU was designed, and that the role of civil society to monitor when the money is returned was recognized. And as we speak now, this first tranche of the money is returned back to Nigeria now. And Nigeria is we're about to commence the monitoring of that, which is going for cash transfer. But the most important thing is that we are having partnership with government on the need for return asset to benefit the people.
Okay, so contrary to the popular belief that government is not very open, because I also know that the Minister of National Budget, the National Budget Minister, also said that for the first time they had a line which talked about the recovered loot and how it would be spent by in the budget. So contrary to popular belief that the government is quite opaque about this whole thing, it is actually more transparent.
Yes, I wouldn't use the word opaque. I think I would say that the government has not been proactive in disclosing information to the public.
Okay.
I think they need to strengthen their communication strategy around the asset recovery. And then two, Nigerians need to have the capacity, the opportunity to be able to access the website of the Ministry of Finance or the Ministry of Justice to know what goes on around every recovered asset. The most important one now is after the Global Forum on Asset Recovery meeting in Washington last year, every country that participated, including Nigeria, which was a major star, they all committed to continue to adopt transparency and accountability in asset recovery process. So when, after the GFA meeting, one of the commitments that we expect to be operationalized in Nigeria is for Nigerian government to establish a law that will help guide how asset recovery is implemented in Nigeria. And one of these laws that will help achieve that goal is the POCA law, the Proceeds of Crime Bill, which will create an asset recovery management agency that will deal with all these problems we are facing today in the country. But unfortunately, the POCA law is stalled in the National Assembly. And that's why we are appealing to the National Assembly to do the necessary, because it is in our interest to be seen that we are serious-minded country, so that people internationally can also help this country to achieve that.
So this government and monies, would you agree that the monies so far brought in have been thoroughly accounted for by this government?
I think that's the contentious area. If you recall, when the EFCC chairman went to the National Assembly for him to be drilled to become the permanent chairman of the EFCC, you can see one of the areas that the question they asked him was that, can he tell them what the actual recovered asset is? That area which he couldn't respond, that was a contentious issue. And today, I'm happy that EFCC have now moved beyond that now. They've been proactive in disclosing what they have recovered. I think the real challenge is that government need to show leadership on the issue of asset recovery, particularly against the background when President Buhari have now just been appointed as the anti-corruption champion for the continent. And one key thing that is bothering the continent is the issue of asset recovery. If Buhari is going to provide leadership on this issue internationally, we must be seen to be serious-minded country, putting in place an example, which for me is lacking as we speak now. If you don't pass the Proceeds of Crime Bill into law, there will not be there will be a gap in the framework that will help the country to deal with the challenge of asset recovery. And that's not very good, and that would defeat the whole aim of the Global Forum on Asset Recovery Commitments, which Nigerians signed on to in Washington.
So we are looking at time. We're just waiting to see how it goes with the civil society monitoring and government trying to put to use these funds.
Yes, and we are putting a robust monitoring mechanism across the country, and we're looking forward. And the cash transfer office, in principle, have agreed to cooperate with us. They will provide us information because they also need. Just recently, you saw that the special advisor to the president on the social investment program, Marian Ways, raised an alarm about fraud in the social investment program. And that again is a very serious issue for us in the civil society. We commend her for her honesty. And I think that we need to help. And that's why we think that they are opening door for civil society to engage in the process is in the interest of the government and for the people. And the only better way for ways to run a transparent governance system in the country that will enable government to at least secure the confidence of the people, particularly against the background when this government has signed on to the Open Government Partnership, which provides room for co-creation with both civil society and government. I think one key commitment in that 13 commitment in the OGP is asset recovery, transparent management of assets recovered.
Thank you very much, David Ugolo. We hope that this cash transfer, which is under the social investment scheme of this government, will be done transparently. Thank you very much for coming on Global Business. Yes. So we have for you on Global Business today. Remember that we come to you Mondays. Just watch out. I'm Imewere Uhiemokai, and remember that this year is our 10th anniversary, and we're going to be unveiling what we have, our package for our 10th anniversary, before the end of the year. You don't want to miss that unveiling. Let's do business again next week. It's always nice doing business with you, and remember, doing business with Global Business is profitable.